Alright guys, so I got the power band all chromed up. I'm really liking the way it's looking. And then I got all these diamond gems here. So what I'm going to do is, I actually think I got some blue ones too, but not at like this scale, a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of blue tinting to this power trail. Not much, just a little bit of blue around certain areas. Because I figure if I'm going to have all these gems up there, it'd be kind of cool to have some bluish into the power trails. So what I figured to do is, I got different types of you know, I don't think I'll use glue, but I got a clear nail polish. What I'm going to try to do is kind of like glue a gem onto like here, glue a gem here, or glue a gem here, and then let it sit, but then use that nail polish, clear nail polish, to kind of put it around it. So the nail polish will kind of like fuse it together and give it really like kind of a clear look, but just there. So I'm just having fun with it, and that's where I'm at now. So I'll probably just do some blues on here, and then start adding gems and just going with it. So we'll see what happens when it's all done. Hopefully it'll look pretty cool. Okay guys, so we pretty much got the hair done, I got the bandana done, and the power trail's got like a little bit of a blue tint with all chromed out now. So slowly getting there. As you can kind of see, you can get the idea of what I was trying to go for. The power trail's got, you know, like some blue tints, some glows. Just gotta, you know, add a little bit more to it to make it a little bit more dazzly, you know, but that's pretty much where I'm at now. So you can see with the hair, I did a nice golden yellow with some pearls in there. You know, got the bandana with a nice flat red with a little bit of shading in there. Did a little dirty blonde up around in here with a little highlights going around, just to give it a little more pop to her hair instead of just, you know, flat. So that's pretty much where I'm at now. I'm liking like where it's at. I'm really happy with it. We just got to do the base next before I actually do the outfit. So what I got to do is I'm going to strip down the base, dip it in some acetone, get that all cleaned up, all that gunk off of there, prime it up, and get it set. And then what I'll probably do is before I actually paint it, I'll just wrap it in saran wrap. This way I can do her outfit. Just a really simple thing. As you can see underneath the shoes, I painted these black one day. As you can see under there, I got all the black underneath there. I figured let me just get the black underneath there, get that over and done with. It's easier to do that, and then spray, you know, blue all over her outfit, and I don't have to worry about all that. So that's where we're at. Getting there slowly. Going to be finishing up pretty soon once we get through the base issues, and then we can get her all done. So that's pretty much where she's at. I like the serious look of the face with the hair. It's looking pretty good, especially I got the eyes turned, you know, looking through with the hair. So it's looking pretty good. So like, you know, that right there looks like she's got the power trail coming out in the way. So we'll be back with some more updates. Alright guys, so I stopped with the figure and I got the base all primed up, smoothed out and everything, and I wanted to make sure everything was working good. So once I stripped down the base and I got all that paint off and all the gunk and everything, I completely forgot, and I realized that what happened was I put a lot of A's in here, and when I pushed her in there to get her into the base, it was all A's and I didn't have her completely level. So that was a mistake on my end. But so what I had to do is once that got all done, I re-drilled the hole and I made new A's peg into the base with fixing up the bottom of her foot a little bit with some other A's. So now she's kind of flush, but I have to sand it down. So we'll get a little closer and I'll show you what's going on. Usually I have all this stuff worked out in the beginning, but with this one it's just a complete mashup, and it's good to show you guys the process and how, you know, if you don't work it all out in the beginning, you have to work it out near the end. So that's why I wanted to make sure I did the base and got it smoothed out before I did the rest of the body, because it would be really a pain if this is all done and painted and then I got to work out the base. So we'll pop this off here so it doesn't fall. And so as you can kind of see, what I do is I put some A's underneath here and to kind of flush this out. So I got to sand this and work this a little bit. But you can see over here, I had to re-drill the hole and get that all flush. Now you might be wondering why there's all powder there. That's actually baby powder. And what I've been learning is, instead of trying to use safety solvent or water to kind of, you know, push something on something to against something, it always gets tacky and sticks. With a little bit of baby powder, you can push it on there, and I can let this sit overnight, and basically when I wake up in the morning, she doesn't stick to the base at all, because the baby powder acts as a, you know, a blocker, and it keeps it nice and dry at the edges. So it works out pretty good. So what I have to do now is just clean that up foot, clean that up, take off all the stuff, sand it down a little bit more, and I can mask off the base, and I can pretty much finish up the figure, and then I can finish up the base at the end. And then once the very last step is taking the power trail and just adding in all those gems and everything. So, like I said, it's a process. This is usually always worked out before I even get the paint, but with this project, it's kind of cool to show you mix-ups and mistakes and just kind of how the process works out and everything. So that's where we're at, and we'll come back with some more updates. Okay guys, so we're going to start painting up the blue outfit. So as you can see, its arm is masked off with silly putty, this shoulder is masked off with silly putty, head's with silly putty up to about the ear, and then I wrap saran wrap around that. It's just a easier way of then throwing silly putty all over. You can just wrap saran wrap off and it makes your life easier. I'll link in the description exactly where you can go and see my masking tutorials about silly putty. So we're going to start painting her up in a blue outfit. Now I have a couple different paints here. I always mix up my different paints. This is a Man-at-Arms blue that I was working with, a Spider-Girl, a Kitty Pryde, another blue. So I'm going to use a lot of these paints, probably this Man-at-Arms as a base blue. Then I'll start working out some shadows with some of these other blues. I have golden, shading gray. I'll use that for some shadowing. I don't want to throw any purples really into it because I don't want to make it too purplish. I want to give it that bright blue comic book look. Once it's all done, then I'm going to mist some Createx Pearlized Blue over this. Just mist it, not really, make it potent, but just enough where it gets a little bit of a pearl look into it, like a sheen or shine to it. And then after that's all said and done, I'll mist some flat top coat over it to dull that pearlized down, and that will give me a spandex type look. So we'll have shadows, we'll have gradients, then we'll have a little bit of a pearl tint. And then what we do is we dull it down to give it that spandex. Because if you gloss coat it or you leave it, it's too shiny and you get reflectedness. You want to take it down and pull it down a little bit. So let's just start working on her.
1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3. 1, 1, 4. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3. 1, 1, 4. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3. 1, 1, 4. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3. 1, 1, 4.
Okay, so pretty much I got it to where I wanted it. It's got the pearlized color on it now. It's got a spandex feel to it, but it's just very, very shiny and must be very shiny in the camera too. So now it's just a matter of dulling it down now to give it more of a spandex look. But I got, my shadows in certain areas. I got the wrinkles to pop out a little bit more now. And it's just pretty much where I wanted it. It's a nice, good, rich color. I didn't want to go like, too much of a boring blue. I wanted more of a a really bright blue. I guess because I'm looking at an artwork that Mark Brooks drew of all the women, Marvel women together, and she was sitting at the bottom right of the picture. I have it up on my wall, and I like the way he did that blue, so I'm kind of trying to follow that blue a little bit as, the way I do it. So let's get her flattened up, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so this is where we're at with her. Got everything pretty much happy with where I want it. It just gives you a better idea and the better light now with the studio lights, which she's looking at. So next up is going to be working on the stars, and then we can start finishing this up, and I can do the base. Base is simple, black base with the red X, just to go with all the other X-Men. But it gives you an idea of what I was going for with the outfit. Might get a little bit of a sheen because of the pearl mixed into it, but it's just getting there. Pretty happy with it. So, we're going to get to work on masking off the stars. We also got to get the red legging going too, and just pretty much start finishing her up. Alright, so what I did is I did all my masking of the star up here, the star over here, and the red leg band over there. So what I'm going to do first is I'll probably do the stars first and then the red leg band, because if I'm spraying in this direction with the gold paint, I already did that, I hit it. But when I come back over this way, I won't be hitting any of the red onto the gold, so it works out. I figure it's easier just to do this, this, and this all in one shot than to try to spread it all out. So let's get painting on these parts.
1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 1, 1, 4. 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 1, 1, 4. 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3.
Okay guys, so here we go. We got the star on, we got the red belt around her leg, and we got the other star over here, and everything was going pretty good. I had no problems with it. I'm trying to fix up some mess ups here and there and everything, just kind of cleaning it up as best as possible. And I was working on the base. Got the base nice and sanded. I got all that crap off of it, nice and smooth. And then I decided to do, it was a nice warm day, it wasn't cold out, so there was, and it wasn't moisture, everything was good. So I got my Krylon Satin Black, right? And I like the way the satin comes out. And it was a really nice color on the base. It came out really smooth. But I missed a spot like over here, and I missed a spot over there, and I didn't kind of cover it completely. And I didn't realize it the next day. So, the next day, I did another coat of this. Because I figured, you know what, it's the same paint, it's the same can. I shook it all up. I made sure I sprayed, like on the... like in the garage on the piece of wood, make sure it's coming out okay, no problem. So I spray it, and all of a sudden, even though this is sprayed in the same can, the same satin black, the chemical that comes out of here reacts to this, and all of a sudden it starts bubbling up and cracking and doing some weird stuff. Now, I didn't handle it, because usually whenever I do a nice good coat, and I think I'm going to do another coat, I never touch it with my hands. I put it in a place where there's never going to be any dust, like a cabinet. But the next day, all of a sudden, all this stuff started crackling and getting smush, and I don't know what the hell happened. So, this is what drives me nuts about the hobby at times. It's not working on the statue. It's not, sculpting. It's whenever I use something like this, and it reacts to its own stuff on the statue. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, I'm living, learning, and as you go on, I guess if I like to use this right out of the can to do a nice big item, I got to do it once, get it all covered completely, and never touch it again with any of this stuff. I don't know. Krylon drives me nuts. Even though their paints are sometimes really nice out of the can, like the flat black, the satin, it just drives me nuts that it reacts to its own stuff. It's pretty stupid, but... you live and learn. And then, also learning that, like, if I did the Krylon black here, but then I use another company's black on top of that, or a red, that reacts to the black. So it's like, it's just really a pain. So next step is I got to sand this down again, and then I'm just going to play it safe and do Tamiya black out of my airbrush on it. Because I know that Tamiya black doesn't react to any kind of enamels that are on the base already. But at least this black gives it a nice good coating. It's nice and thick, and it's protecting, and we'll go from there. So that's where we're at. Just another mishap, another hiccup on the projects. It always happens. But, spraying out of the can, it's a risky job, so it's better to do it on bases or big, huge projects instead of trying to do it on the body, and then you have a problem. So, that's where we're at, and we'll be back with more updates on her.